back to The Watch. And guys, Avatar, The Way of Water. Or you could call it The Waiting of Water.
Or the movie that never ends.
Biggest cliche, I think, of the past decade.
I'm a bit conflicted on this. I'm probably a bit more charitable than you guys for things that might not be completely justified. Because overall, there are issues with this film. One of the bigger ones that I think even regular filmgoers are going to have trouble overlooking. There are other issues where people who are not as critical as us might just, turn off their brains and enjoy and things. But we'll get there. So first I want to hear what you guys are thinking. So Nathan, what's your thoughts?
I was very bored, to be completely honest with you. I didn't feel anything in this movie. Despite all the hype and all the work that's been put into this, I found it I was disappointed. It wasn't as woke as I thought it was going to be, because we've heard some things with whaling, whatever. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, I don't know if I like the subtlety of it either. And
subtlety?
Yeah. Well,
subtlety?
Look, when I watched Wakanda, it was very in my face.
An Asian lady in a submarine whaling.
Which is Aussie, okay, but again...
Subtlety.
Yeah, very subtle.
And yeah, I just felt like the movie was played 3 times, once each hour.
Yeah.
They repeated themselves.
And the middle hour could have been cut entirely.
Yeah.
When you say, I get what Nathan was saying when he says subtle, because this film is propaganda, but not the type of propaganda that we get beaten over the head all the time. Instead of men bad and everything like that, this is humans bad, people bad, and it's a complete environmental propaganda kind of thing, and they go very heavy-handed in that. And that's easier to ignore for me. I would take this type of propaganda versus the crap that's more subversive any day of the week, which is why I guess it didn't bother me as much, but that's just me. It's there. Trust me, it's there. And there are issues to be talked about.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with me, though, is that James Cameron just loves this movie so much, and I don't see it. I don't get what's up with the blue monkeys or with the water or with the... all of that. James Cameron's so excited about Avatar! I don't see it.
Marcus, you called it something that I kind of jumped on. You called it a what?
This movie's wank.
You got it wank. I don't know why you picked that. When I heard that,
it's Cameron jerking himself
exactly.
off.
I was like,
that's what you told me.
Exactly.
And it's true.
This film just feels like James Cameron jerking himself off to the animals in Pandora and this world that's so much better than ours and these noble savages that are smarter and more honourable and humans bad. And look at the water and look at the fish. Don't you love the fish? It's like, no!
Look at the Na'vi. Aren't they pretty?
It's gratuitous to the point where it's like, this guy, this is fetish or something. I think
his fetish? You mean how they connect up their penis ponytails to everything? It's a fish, you got to connect up to it. They're horses, they're seahorses. Put it in everything.
You have to sexually violate every animal and plant if you're in this world.
It gets to the point where it's like, bro, what's going on here? What are you doing? This is uncomfortable.
It just reminded me of the opening parts where the younger kids do it and they go,
yeah, it's
it
weird.
Feels uncomfortable.
It's weird! Your other thoughts, Marcus?
I didn't like it. It was way too long. It was boring. I didn't have an emotional connection to anything or anyone. And I felt attacked as a human.
So, there were elements in this that I actually did get emotionally invested. And look, maybe it's just me because I'm a sucker for a strong father, doing the thing of the dad protecting his family. And but they did actually, I feel, for me at least, establish the connection between the family members, and when one family member is at risk, the others were coming in, and there was conflict that they were able to build out of that.
Unless they're human.
Unless
they're demon blood.
And that drew me in, but then what drags us down, the biggest failing of this film, is that there's so much masturbatory filler where James Cameron is just getting off on it, and it's like you could cut easily an hour of this film, make it more concise. Then there are issues with just them making stupid decisions, okay? But I've got more thoughts to say on that. Sorry, Tyreth, your thoughts?
I get it. The Cowboys and Indians theme. I get it. You can't make a film with this sort of story without a Cowboys versus Indians type of thing, but they just go, to the 10th degree. Kill all the humans you can, all the demons.
Humans bad.
Kill them all. Industrial revolution, military complex, all. Let's do all of it. Whaling, you name it. But, the native people are super intelligent, super emotionally
Not just the
connected.
native people, the animals.
The
Yeah,
animals
yeah.
as well.
We have Water Jesus is a female. We have a female general saving the world. There is a lot in this film.
There is. Okay, see, I was expecting it, which is why perhaps maybe it didn't hit me so hard. But it, like, if I wasn't expecting, I don't know, maybe it would have hit because it is there. That's like, you know, humans bad. You know, the environmentalist message.
Well, you didn't get that from the giant spaceship coming down and
Just
burning
burning
the
everything.
planet. Yeah, they couldn't just drop it off or bring it down nicely. No, they had to burn
Exactly.
the planet.
Like they made the humans going out of their way.
Cartoonishly evil.
Like in every level, right? Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because I look at that, right? And for some reason that doesn't rub me nearly as annoyed as really off-the-wall woke stuff. Like where it's men are bad and all that stuff and like that didn't have that.
No, so it's more
Humans are bad.
Yeah.
Just
Humans are
The
bad.
whole species.
the whole species needs to be eliminated.
The
That's why
monkey the boy is a monkey. It's devil blood, demon blood. It's like, but then
It's a very racist film when you think about it. Against human. It's,
the water tribes are Maori tribes.
Yeah.
Like there is a lot of like,
it's actually xenophobic against humans. That's what it is.
but that isn't as bad as just the general story elements being so generic to the point of like, oh, the water princess is coming, or they have a glance. Okay, teen romance.
Yep.
I know what's happening.
Yes. So this is like where I get a little conflicted, and I think I'm being too charitable, and you probably guys pull me up because you have every right to. Because
I got references.
we've had so much crap. I would happily accept competent, stereotypical schlock, where it's like everything you're right, it's predictable. You saw it a mile away, right?
But it's so predictable to the point where it's sucking me out of it. I'm just going, oh, okay, that's what they're doing. All right, okay, yeah.
But what surprised me is that I actually did connect with some of the characters and feel their emotional conflict and stuff between the family.
Yeah.
And, you know, a dad protecting his family is always going to... Doesn't mean the movie's good, right? But as a result, there were moments that I felt actually got an emotional reaction, got me more invested, okay?
It's true, but...
I never got that.
You never got it?
No, not once.
So, the first film, they spend it realizing humans are bad, and then they fight them and send them off. In this film, as soon as the humans come, they run away. They spend the entire film...
We'll get to spoilers. Yeah. Completely legitimate. There are bafflingly dumb things in this film, and this is where when I'm trying to criticize it and figure it out, right? They aren't like breaking reality problems like we see in Rings of Power, Wheel of Time. They're problems, but they're the result of characters being really, really dumb. People can be dumb. I'm not saying it makes it good or is an excuse, but it's less bad than if it's truly breaking reality. But their choices did not make sense. Don't get me wrong. They're contradictory, and they are not only they make some really dumb choices. Sorry, I'll wait for spoilers because their treatment towards one character in particular really pissed me off, and they're just disregard for that character.
Trying to work out which one that is. I can't wait.
Spider.
Which one? We're joking. We know which one you're talking about.
We'll talk about Spider.
I've got things
to say.
And so, without like the insane woke things, everything like that, if you can ignore all that, there are moments to enjoy in the film. I thought some of the action and spectacle was actually pretty decent. But what really drags down the film is just how boring and slow it becomes, especially in the middle. And so you almost could have had a brainless blockbuster action-y flick, right? If it was concise and snappy, that's in an interesting setting with an alien world, and then they just slow down the entire film to give us these side plots of them making love with whales. It's like, give us a break.
I love it. I was sitting there for about half an hour where nothing has really happened. We haven't seen the bad guys, and I go, what is this movie exactly? What do I watch?
I didn't know I was watching Free Willy again.
Oh, wow, it's excessive.
And given Cameron's obsession with this film, just let you make whatever jokes you'd like.
I wonder if they're gonna release like an extended director's
No,
cut.
please.
I thought this was the extended one. Look, if I want to watch, A Beautiful World, what's that thing where that British guy always narrates the stuff?
David Attenborough.
David
Attenborough.
Attenborough. Pretty views, pictures of nature and stuff like that. I would go watch that. This is supposed to be a film with an actual narrative with it should be concise. Where this just goes off the rails to these other side plots we don't care
I
about.
was just thinking about something. Didn't Cameron once say like Marvel movies or something about carnival rides, and he was insulting?
No,
them?
that wasn't him.
That wasn't him. That was Scorsese.
Yeah.
He's insulted movies like this before, but
Totally.
it's his own movie. He does the exact same issues where it just feels like, it's being taken for a ride rather than a story.
Yeah, and so if I wanted to watch something like that, I'd go and watch that, all right? I didn't want to watch it give me an action blockbustery film that, and shock horror, I was kind of expecting something in the vein of the first one. This is worse than the first one because imagine the first one, insert at least half an hour or an hour of them making out with animals, and then it's like, what are you doing? And that insertion is such a distraction of the actual problems and plots that's supposed to be going on here.
I want to ask, what did you think of the CG? Because in the first 10 minutes of the movie, when the humans land, I saw a terrible shot of CGI.
Okay, surprisingly, there was, I wonder if it's the same shot, I forget what it was, but there was a moment where I thought, I wasn't expecting a moment of bad CGI, and I didn't notice.
I remember exactly what scene it was. It was a scene where they're on the big walker things, and there's like a regular human in a suit, and it's like hot, so it's like a bit wavy, but it just looks like terrible CGI.
See, it wasn't that, it was something else, but it might have been one of the Navi or animals, but I was just like...
Oh yeah, I saw that with the Navi at times. I was like, I feel like they just digitally enhanced the eyes, and that was really it at times.
And I don't remember
obvious.
having that reaction in Avatar 1.
Yeah,
and I thought this is supposed to be a big leap in technology. It probably is.
But
the water is probably insane.
This is why it's important, because the whole reason why this took so long was technological advancements, and it's like, I don't feel like I've
Where is it?
much advancements here. It just looks like a good CGI film.
Yeah, for the amount of money this film needs to make back,
$2 billion.
I can't believe some of the creative choices that they did here. And what was frustrating, right? I think they could have done it. For instance, there's a beginning conflict, right? And for me, that set up, this is where the film is going. Even if it stays predictable, right?
But it was the conflict in the first film. It's still the same conflict.
But I could still, I would take that over the woke crap we've been getting everywhere. If you just give me moderately executed generic crap, I would still be happy with it. I think a lot of audiences would be okay, just because of how bad. I would still say it's generic.
I have no problem with that. It's just the reaction to the conflict. It's the exact same conflict from the first film, and the reaction is just completely different.
It is. It's retarded what they do. I thought, okay, that's what it's setting up, because what worked in this film that the other one didn't was the family angle. And I thought, okay, if the core of the conflict is protecting the family, wrapped up in the same conflict they had before, that'll be different enough, interesting dynamics between the family members, I'm on board. And then the film takes a complete left turn and for stupid reasons, by the way, and then you're stuck on an hour of boring crap that's unrelated when you're just waiting for the regular plot to catch up when you know what's going to happen.
It's the same film. That's what that was. They left. Are we doing spoilers?
All right, all right.
If we move
out of 10, and then we'll move to spoilers. What's your ratings out of 10, fellas?
4.
4?
As a normal person, I'd give it like a 6 or 7. As a host, I'll give it like a 4. Yeah.
Interesting that you have that distinction.
I'm with them.
Yeah.
I gotta go for 4.
So I would almost, if I was normie viewer that doesn't get hung up on plot holes and by the way, you shouldn't excuse plot holes anyway, but if it was just give me a blockbuster action flick, right? I could give it almost a 6 out of 10, if not for the inexcusable middle of the film that just drags on so much that, I think that would kick out normies as well, everything like that, and that drags it easy down to a 4. And then when you consider some of the plot holes,
I don't know, because my tolerance for sitting there and just watching boring films has dropped very low. So I don't know. Maybe normal people are just I like this. A bit more slice of life, a bit more of this. But even I was sitting there, I was like, what's going on? What is this?
My points of comparison, I think I'm fairly consistent with it, because, for instance, the Batman 3-hour film, I didn't get bored in the Batman.
Yeah,
so enough was happening where it was. the next thing was always related to the plot, and I was following it along. Second viewing might be more boring, where
Actually,
the slower panning and the longer kind of detective scenes might get dragged more in a second viewing. But for the first viewing of the Batman, I enjoyed it. And then I compare it to other slow burn things like Andor, which is like there's slow burn, then there's glacial filler. And so
I don't know. I feel like I enjoyed Andor more than this. I enjoyed Andor way more.
All right, let's
Just
gotta put that out there.
Another videos.
Tyrant's getting triggered.
no, we'll move on.
And so for me, this is inexcusable crap where James Cameron, I enjoyed Alita Battle Angel, okay? I felt he was just doing it for himself. He was getting off on this, what he loved, and not trying to make a film where large audiences would really enjoy.
I don't know. I think
And that
normal
drags it.
audiences will like it.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon they will.
They'll probably get stunned by the visuals and just go.
I think the boringness
I don't know
is
that.
really going to pull it down for regular viewers in a big way.
Because I don't like. It's boring in the fact that like I'm sitting there going, okay, what's happening with the story here? Like we're just been in the water, chilling, fishing, doing all this stuff for like an hour now. Okay, what's happening? But I think normal people would just be like, oh, we're on the Pandora world, we're back in Avatar world.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
like
fun.
an amusement park
See,
thing.
they got that out of the first film. We've seen Pandora.
No, but
Look
they-
how pretty
no, but they
Pandora is.
didn't, though,
Now that
'cause-
they're showing the Fisher Pandora, it's like same.
That's different enough for people to hook.
See-
because in the first film, it was very conflict all the time.
Well, that's the other thing about why the first film works so well, right? Is that all the fancy, and they look how great Pandora is. And by the way, I don't get off on an it's an imaginary world. It's not real.
I just wanted to finish that sentence.
Yeah.
A bit different. I don't get off on imaginary. What?
No, but like, I think I like watching the documentaries of Earth when it's real and stuff. And this is like, it's very pretty, but it's not better than Earth. But the whole thing is like how much better this world is than Earth. And it's like, no, screw that world. It's fake. Earth is way, but screw. Anyway.
Also,
so
the inhabitants are better than us. Earth.
yeah, well.
And their female god is better.
Exactly.
And their female Jesus is better.
I don't doubt that. Cameron probably believes that because they are so obsessed with this world that they derail the entire film to just jerk off about it. I'm sorry, I'm saying it too much. Sorry for the crudeness, but it's the only way I can really. It helps contextualize the way where I think it's just they are enjoying it too much. But so in my comparison to the first film, right? They were smaller and interspersed in between the events that were happening.
Yes.
And so they actually complemented the film where...
Yeah, but this wasn't that, though.
I know, this wasn't that. This is why the first film worked better, where it's like, oh, he's going to the Na'vi and they have to cross some of the forest and you see some of the fancy forest, right? And then they don't dwell on it too much, but it was still... That was a really amazing visual. Okay. And how that worked is that this is... a story of conflict in an interesting setting, and the interesting setting isn't hijacking the plot of the story, where the setting hijacks the plot in a big way to the point where they have entire sequences that you could cut and nothing would be lost. Where, like the whaling scene.
Yeah.
There was such an extended...
Which whaling scene?
Yeah, there's a few.
The main one where they...
They just catch it and then kill it.
Well, there's an extended one where they go through the whole thing, like...
Because there's two. There's one where it's the trap,
Yeah.
and then there's one where...
That's the first one I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
okay,
where,
yeah.
like...
Oh yeah, that
you-
could have been short in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And
Instantly.
they drag that out. And there are so many things where they could just cut. And it's just there for, because they are obsessed with, isn't Pandora better than Earth? I'm like, no, screw
I don't know. It
Pandora.
kind of feels like that whole scene was like, oh, we need a way to make the humans really, really evil. Here's let's pull out every trick in the book to make them villainous.
And so
Look, they're killing innocent, intelligent sea creatures. Don't you hate them?
So I wave. I'm waving between I could, because the moments that were good, I could enjoy. There was some good spectacle and good action, and there was like an action moment towards the end where two of the characters are just full on obsessed because something happens, and I'm invested. I want to see them achieve what they're after. That works well. All right, so that's where I'm at. I'm waving between the two, but I think I am more sitting on like a 4 out of 10 overall when I try and balance it out.
We do have to say that if you're like just a regular person, I think that most people will give it like a 7 or 8. They'll like it.
Maybe. I don't know. It's so... I think more common audiences are less forgiving about boring filler than we might realise, and this really tests it.
But it is filler, and it's boring for me. But I don't think it's boring for regular people. I think people will like it.
See, I don't know. I think their wonder, they already blew their load on the first one. It isn't anything new.
But this time it's with water.
That's not to me. Nothing of greater value was added.
Yeah,
Same thing, but wet.
I agree.
Who cares?
I agree. But I reckon
We'll see. And you might be right. So now we're moving into spoilers. There's a lot to discuss. This has been your warning. Okay, spoiler section. There was one thing that me and Tyneth wanted to mention because it's in relation to the moments that I felt were you get invested in emotionally. And the specific one that I was talking about was when the son dies and the parents just basically rage and they go nuts. I would rage. And so I was like, kill him all!
That's believable, but then they go, let's kill the demon white kid who they've raised as a son.
Yeah, that was
way out of left
jumping
field.
the shark a bit there. I agree. I could almost believe it for her character because she is a savage, and they're like, oh, they're still savage primitives, right? And
She's such a hypocrite though, because
I know,
you're married to someone who was a human.
I know.
Oh.
And their treatment of Spider and that's the character's name, is retarded and near unforgivable for what they set up and then how they disregard him as worthless.
I agree with it from Jake Sully's point, because he's a military man, and tactically speaking, getting that kid back would be like, you'd have to just wage a planetary war.
But he did it so he brushed off so easily. Like, he should have reacted like it was one of his own children.
I agree.
And if it's your own children, you would risk, like...
I agree, but he's not his own children, and...
But to me, I thought they were establishing it like he was.
To be fair, they do that.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think the kids...
What?
You're right there? You're right. It had to come out.
All right.
Because there's parts in the early period where she's always like, he needs to go back to Earth, and he's like, yeah, well, we've got to wait and whatever to see. And it's always when the kids, I think, accepted him as who he was. It was the adults who were like, we need to get him out of here.
They could have easily established that with a bit more shown, I think, because it would be just like, especially if the mother, crazy, savage, nutcase one, what's her name? I forget, like...
we don't remember any of the names.
No, we don't. That was the first question I asked after we got out.
Jake, that's about it.
Jake and Colonel
Sanders.
Warridge, Kurtz. I'm calling him Colonel, man.
I could believe it of her if they actually, and it would be just a couple of lines where this is the son of their enemy, someone she hates, and so she'll always hate Spider and never accept him. Perfectly understandable. I think it's a leap that she was able to gamble and intuit that he would have affection for his own son when...
I agree.
Where did she get
it was
that
so
from?
Jarring. Like she could have easily snuck up on him. They were behind and stuff. But she went up and grabbed the kid instead. Okay, but I feel like we need to start from the start because that's near the end.
Okay.
So
there's a lot.
I need to start with the first film is basically people are evil and then they have to fight them off to free their world. They do that. Then the humans return, as they of course would, and their first instinct is, let's run away.
All right. So that came out of left field and was really dumb, and because the film establishes that, because they don't run away at first. How it goes is they've been living in paradise on Pandora for whatever long. He has all these kids now, okay? And then the evil humans come in the most asshole-ish way possible.
Let's torch the forest!
I would say bombastic. That is the most bombastic.
Burn it all! That's pretty much what they are.
And the thing that the most desperate thing that they fought so hard to protect, like their big trees, just get fried instead. Already, you're off to a bad start if you undermine the thing that they were that they managed to save in the first film, and it just gets wiped out in the sequel. And it's like... thanks for ruining the emotional...
And just to really drive this point home, they come to the conclusion at the end of the film that they have to fight. That really pisses me off.
Yeah.
I'm glad it does because it's dumb. You're absolutely right. The thing is, though, they land, they have to escape, so the mother's crying about the trees, and then a year passes, and it comes... and. The context of what they've been doing the entire year has been waging a guerrilla war. They attack, a grav train thing, and so they have been warfare the entire time. They've been fighting, and so the film establishes...
A successful guerrilla war, I'd like to add.
Yes, they've been actually quite successful, been doing really well, and so the film establishes that they are fighting for their world. They know they're getting hunted by the humans, all right?
And not to mention they have an extremely extreme tactical advantage in their location.
Yes.
That messes up all the computers, all the aircraft, and they have to resort to using their own avatars to infiltrate. Like,
And so the next move by the humans is that they resurrect the bad guy from the previous film with his memories in an avatar body.
see, I really like the actor who plays him.
Oh, he's great.
He's a great, like, he's done
Yeah.
a lot of like military comedy, and that's why I didn't like it when they killed him in the first one. So I'm kind of like, okay, he's
So,
back. I like him. That's cool.
This is the thing. It is cheap when
They-
you bring back the bad guy
But they
who
didn't.
was dead.
They didn't make the same mistake this time. They kept him alive.
Yes,
this time.
they did. But the thing is, though, it's all about execution. Sometimes rules do exist to be broken. You need to you need to see how they execute it. For instance, bringing Palpatine back was the most retarded thing in the world. But they had the technology already established that makes sense in the world that they were able to do this. Okay, cloning exists. They just basically inserted. We took an imprint of your memories because magical sci-fi
That's not
bullcrap.
how
My
it works
issue-
with Jedi and Sith. You can't clone Jedi and Sith. There is pre-established lore on this. That's why it's even more stupid the Palpatine turn.
Yeah.
Okay, but in this one, I could accept it, and he's a good bad guy, and it's like, we'll see what you do. But it was cliche. It's like, all right, there's always problems, but we'll see how I execute it. And he's so get the job done. He's a good villain. It's like, okay, the film is starting to have potential for me.
Look, he's good. Like, conceptually, I have no problem with him returning. I feel like there was way more they could have done, though,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
explore with this whole idea. I mean, you died. Your son's around.
Well,
You're learning to be like the enemy that you are. Shouldn't you hate yourself a little bit
So-
just because you are the enemy?
And I think an important point is he's not effective, actually, because in the first film it was all about duty, everything. This one was basically just a personal vengeance. Because remember,
Yeah.
he was, what was it, Turuk Maktu or something like that. So you got to
I'm
kill...
surprised you remember. Man.
Because it's a cool name. And he got it because he rode the big flying dragon last time, which he didn't do this time. I was really bummed about that, okay? So, like, of
Give
course
us
I
the flying
remember,
dragon!
I remember that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I remember that. But the whole point of when he was first resurrected is we've got to kill their leader. That's how we're going to win this.
Yep.
And then his leader leaves and gives it to someone else. He goes, okay, now we're going to hunt him down. It's like, no, you wanted to kill the leader,
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah, their tactics are retarded. Especially that, like, we'll get to a bit more of that. And so he comes back, right? And even when they said that there were children that remained, it was like, oh, he's probably going to be the son of the bad guy. It was pretty obvious and predictable. The thing is, though, that is interesting conflict that they could have used. And I think they tried to use it, and in some ways it was interesting, but other ways it was cheap and predictable.
I didn't think he was going to be the son of the bad
Oh, really?
guy, because there was literally absolutely nothing that even gave that away in the first film in the
Well,
slightest. There was not a single
This
thread
is
of
where
anything.
where it was cheap. He didn't have a son in the first film.
He didn't have a son.
He
He
had no
wasn't-
wife. He
yeah.
had no family, and every indication that any reasonable person would assume is that there was no family there
exactly.
at all, no
So-
kids. And
so
so they
that was not
purposely,
obvious to me, actually.
basically warp and try to get you to swallow something that is quite bullcrap. That no, there were kids there, which end up. He's like the only kid. It's like there was no other children
there was
anyway. It's
no
like so he was the only person with a kid. They say there were more, but we don't see any more. So it was predictable. But I was willing to even give this a pass. It's like, this could actually lead to some interesting conflict. I could see why they're willing to do something unrealistic, dumb, and get the audience to swallow something dumb for the potential of narrative conflict it could bring. So I was like, okay, again, willing to give a pass. This is where I was like,
I agree.
it might.
I agree.
You could pull
but
something else
But the
here.
resolution of that conflict is dumb.
Exactly. They don't pull it off. But at the beginning, I was like thinking, this is actually starting to slowly win me over. And I was even starting to feel positive in the first conflict between him and the children. Because it was intense. Like, the kids are in danger. Dad's got to save them. It was some good tense action where they had to like stealth kill, and then there's a standoff.
Yeah.
And I was like, at that point, after that conflict, I was like, oh wow, I think this film could pull it off. I think it could pull it off. And then the left turn bullcrap where
Yeah.
they decide the best thing to do is to run away.
I feel like it's important to say the combat in this film is fine. Like the combat,
the action?
James
is all-
Cameron
it's
still's
fine.
got it.
It's fine.
He
yeah.
knows what he's doing
The
when it comes
action's
to an
fine.
action scene.
The story is just another thing.
Yeah, it's,
And that's exactly where I was saying the action, the spectacle, and some of the emotional investment that's actually giving the action some more weight made the film almost a 6 out of 10 for me, but then all the other issues drag it down. So what happens is Jake's reaction to the bad guys coming back is that he is going to hunt their family. And I'm like, hang on, the humans are already hunting you anyway. This shouldn't be like, is it more dangerous because he's doing it, is more competent? I don't know, it's like, you would expect the humans to have competent, soldiers and stuff on the case anyway.
How spicy you want to go?
They don't. But this shouldn't, just in the realms of logic, be such a change in the status quo that he's ready to not only run away, but abandon the fight entirely.
Yeah.
And that was baffling. It's like, I thought the whole thing was save Pandora from the invading aliens.
Well, I mean, I can maybe understand from the aspect that his son is an idiot, and the whole film is just rescuing kids over and over and over again from their own dumb decisions.
Yeah.
4 or 5 times. It's like constant.
And so, you know what you would usually do? Like, this was a war, you would send the kids away.
Yeah.
And the fighting men would stay behind
At
it.
least the idiot one that keeps causing all the problems.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
And having an entire film where it's like trying to fight a war but protect your family that's also involved is just real furtive grounds for great conflict, narrative conflict and stuff. And they do what? They just go left field, forget it, and only bring that back at the very end, which is like, what?
I have to bring up this point. So yous agree that those idiot children doing all those idiot things 4 or 5 times throughout the film is a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then-
yeah.
Consistently, yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's why I hate it so much at the end. The kids disobeying again is what saves them.
Yep.
It's like you're getting rewarded for the... For
Just keep doing, keep trying,
Keep
and
failing.
eventually.
your brother died, but do it again. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So many instances of it. It gets ridiculous.
And so when they just decide to run away to the water people, I was thinking like, what is going on now? The film had potential. I thought, you got me. I was invested. Protect the family in this battle. And then they don't use what they had set up. That should have been the entire film. And then they throw a curveball, which circumvents the entire thing.
It'll be the next film. Literally, it will be the next
What friggin'
film.
frustrates me, the whole rest of the film is just for Jake to come back to the decision he should have had at the beginning. It's
that's the whole
I
point.
can't run away, I have to fight.
Okay, but...
Wow, moron, where'd you get that from?
Okay, but running away, you pick the hardest people to adapt to living with.
I love what's going to happen next. Is whenever the next film releases in 2055 or whatever, you can literally just skip this film, and if you watch the first film and the next film, I bet you anything, they'll just match up.
They
Like,
probably
you can
will.
watch them.
You're right. It's just down one son, but you don't even know that even had that. It's like, you're right. And there's some annoying plot holes, contrivances, which just rub me
there's
the
some
wrong way.
big ones.
Like, the thing that the humans want always happen to be the very thing that the aliens the Na'vi, the natives, right, are either living on or value, okay?
Yeah, they don't want the metal anymore. Now they
Exactly.
want the whales.
Unobtainium, I mean, that was good, okay? They technically have it. They
Wait,
fried.
whoa.
They fried.
Stop. What was that?
Unobtainium, that's what it's called.
They called it unobtainium. The, first
The
film.
metal.
The
yeah.
metal.
Unobtainium.
It was the most lazy, we need name for
I'm sorry,
MacGuffin bullcrap.
We're not...
It's not MacGuffin, but yeah.
Avatar's not good, then. Because that's really, really bad and basic.
Yeah, they called
But
it
this is...
the metal
Wow.
unobtainium. The largest deposit was under the tree. They fried the trees. They technically have access to in.
But then the general said, I'm not here to do some little mining stuff.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just here to save the world.
Oh, yeah.
Save when they not Pandora. Now they just want to
No, we want
fully invade and colonize.
We want Pandora to be Earth, pretty much, which... You have space travel! You can't breathe on Pandora! What are you gonna do? Pick somewhere else! Anywhere else!
I mean-
you could explore for ages.
Terraform.
Yeah,
like,
technically
yes.
speaking, we right now are going to Mars and the Moon, and we can't breathe there. So I mean,
But the thing is,
I don't care about that.
the only way
they've got space travel that they can go further than we
Yeah,
ever
that-
could with Mars. They
that's
could find a world
That's
that
true. That is
suits
true.
it. So
they're trying to
so-
establish that Pandora
okay.
seems to be the only other planet that has nature diverse wildlife than any. That's the only place.
I don't
Well,
believe
that's
that.
just.
I think
true.
it's a contrivance. Them just saying, let's
We already know
world
there's
build.
other worlds that have lots of lush vegetation. Yeah.
What in Pandora?
No, in the real world, we already know that there's
well,
plenty.
we
of,
assume we don't know.
with pretty good degree of certainty. Let's not get into the weeds, Shad.
Well,
Let's
you
not
get
get into the
it
weeds.
because this is a passion
Let's not get into the weeds.
So they're basically trying to say that it's the only option for humanity now. They're gonna like fully colonized, and on top of that, there is now.
They don't actually say it's the only option. They don't even mention that. They
That's
just kind
true.
of just,
I'm giving
No,
it.
just
we're just taking
I
this
know.
world now.
It's like but they said they're trying to save Earth by colonizing.
It's a
Pandora,
throwaway
and
thing.
So, but the thing is, then there's another thing. That there is now this magical brain juice which stops aging.
No, not that.
And that is like, we need reason for conflict. We'll just the magical brain juice in these. Now look, there are some remarkable things in nature. Pandora is just some crazy place where it's like, sure, whatever, but it's only there to. It's so obvious that the only reason is just for the conflict because it's in the whales that the sea people love.
What bothers me the most is how they just waste the rest of it. Like, don't get me wrong, humans will do terrible things. We will hunt animals, we'll do all this,
Okay.
but we never waste the animal. We use the whole thing.
We need a pause here because this film begs this conversation, and this is the long form review. This is what we're here for. We need to actually talk about this, right? Humans evil, humans bad, right? That's the whole narrative.
Yep.
And the friggin' thing that I hate that's so bullcrap about this is that, well, we know it's not true. Some humans are bad. But guess what? The good humans, the good people, always try and oppose the bad people. Because guess what? Is whaling just, can anyone whale in the modern day?
Yeah, there's
environmentalists exist amongst humans to try and protect life.
Yeah.
And you're saying all humans have just gone off the wall, and they tried to have one kind of guy that had an issue with it, but he was still, on board.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's why I drink.
And are you telling me that there's not protests on Earth and people saying it's fine and all that crap, and to legally allow this type of abuse? I was hidden from it, but you should at least try and explore that with a bit more nuance than all people bad, because the way that they're killing... This is the big thing. This is why I think the fact that they brush over it is really disingenuous. They know these whales are sentient. If they didn't, it would be more acceptable that these are just animals that we can harvest like we've been doing for
I feel like
years
we
for
really,
our own
really
benefit.
need to just nail down the point that if this was real, if Pandora was a real world, none of this would happen.
No.
Like, there's
You're right.
just no
There would be-
way.
Not only that,
Like, legally, the UN, world government, like, they come in and just burn everything, kill everything,
it's
destroy
that'd be-
everything. It's like,
because humans bad.
yeah, like, to the point where it's like, it's a comic book villain. Like, we're just killing the alien for its brain juice.
Yeah, when the reality is, humans, if our world actually, if we tried to make it realistically, right, they would put a ban on any human, messing up their development. Because guess what? We already have that type of stuff. There's actually primitive tribes. There's a tribe on an island.
Uncontacted tribes, yes.
Uncontacted tribes where it is illegal for you to mess with them, right? They do attack everyone who goes there
Yeah,
on
they're
sight.
gonna kill you anyway. But yeah.
Kind of like the Na'vi. Almost, right?
No, almost exactly. Let's be real.
But this is... okay.
Just zoom in on it.
But also, this is an allegory about evil colonialism and settling...
Yeah, we didn't
other-
see this earlier in another film that came out very recently. I wonder what film I'm talking
The problem I
about.
take with that sort of like analyzation is that yes, colonization was bad and
Well-
colonists did things, but relatively speaking, they weren't they weren't on the same moral level as us.
This is exactly like... There's actually a lot of differences in terms of humans colonizing the world that they already inhabit in different places, and because colonization is a type of migration, okay, and people need to migrate out of necessity. And look at Australia.
When we go to Mars, we're going to be colonizing it.
Yeah.
When we go to the moon, we're going to be colonizing
But there are things that necessitate it, right?
Yeah.
For instance, when England colonized Australia, there was a necessity because of your population in England, and they didn't have a place, like it was a penal colony to send prisoners because they couldn't handle them all and stuff. And even like when you look at Australian colonization, bad things happen. But what's really interesting, I recently looked at some of the history of this local area that we're sitting in right now, because there were some atrocities done against the native inhabitants here. But guess what? What people don't talk about, and what I was actually surprised to see in the historical record, there were laws against it. There were laws against killing native inhabitants, okay? And so the people that were doing it were breaking the law, and it even says, if we can find who did this, like they talk about this massacre that happened, they said, if we can find who did this, they're all getting hanged.
Yeah.
And they're trying to say that everyone was on board with killing the natives. They're like, no, there were good people there were bad people, but there's a mix.
I would like to bring up my thing that I said in Wakanda Forever. When Christopher Columbus went and did all of his atrocities, the Queen was outraged and the Spanish called him back and punished him.
There's far more nuance about Christopher Columbus because a lot of the accusations were a letter written by his enemies, and there's valid claims that they're all founded on lies.
Possibly, but either way, it's still proof that they would not allow it.
Yeah.
That they weren't fond of just massacring natives.
Yes.
Even if it's lies or it's not.
The point that I'm making is, though, a couple hundred years ago, there's a lot more you can get away with. There's a lot more that would happen. Yeah. However, we're not talking about, like, people on ships sailing to another world. We're talking about, like, the world sending ships to another planet completely more advanced than we are now, going, just burn it, bro. Burn it all.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It's
not going to happen. It's cartoonishly villainish, which actually undermines...
his own death. Yeah. So, of course, they would be able to get that stuff back to Earth.
It undermines any kind of narrative substance the plot is trying to have when everything that this is actually found on is pretty unbelievable.
It genuinely makes me go, I kind of want to see what the Earth is like in their world. Like, like what is it like there? If they're just like, oh yeah, just go like genocide a different world, do whatever you want.
Yeah,
what's happening there, man?
Like, they would have to. I'm not saying they couldn't establish it to say humans just got really, really worse. Society is degrading. That's world building that you need to pre-establish to justify to make it more believable.
You will eat the bugs. I mean, we can get there.
They want to, right? And so, look, that I'm glad we talked a bit about that because
it is a main thing.
It's a main. It underpins the entire conflict where all the humans except one guy was hesitant about killing the whales.
On their team.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, this is where I mentioned it, and I'm going to jump on again, which would make it even worse, because I could see humans willing to slaughter, wholesale animal if it had magical brain juice that made you immortal.
Yeah, I was about to say, the brain juice makes you immortal. So,
it stops aging permanently. You could still die from...
Let's be clear here. If it was like, I don't know, it got rid of wrinkles or something like that, we're not going to go genocide another world. However, if it's immortal, I could see humans, corporations going like...
what we would do, we would study this stuff to try and reproduce it artificially.
Yeah, I was about to say, we'd probably try and harvest it.
We would definitely... And then, what they would try and do, if it's that valuable, we would try and negotiate a way to get their bodies upon death because it's that valuable. But to then just go...
let's hunt every last one of them.
The thing with this whole... is that's a movie in of itself.
Yeah.
It's such a big concept, and there's so much to talk about, and that's the frustrating thing with this film. There's so many ideas here, and it's like, oh, that sounds like a really interesting idea, and they don't explore it every time.
Or they just accept you to swallow that, this is how it is, we're doing it this way, and trust us is believable.
Yeah.
And they're like, hang on, because this is the thing that really threw me out. The whales are, they're intelligent. They are sentient, intelligent beings to the point of being mathematicians.
They can talk,
and composers and can communicate. In terms of they have a language. Holy friggin' crap! You're telling me no humans have an issue with this because humans have enough of an issue with just killing cows for food. But if these are intelligent, sentient animals, I can't see any human that has any level of ethical understanding being okay with that. And everyone is. They're just like, let's kill them. And they know that they're sentient.
In the first film, if I'm remembering correctly, the one that was doing all the bad stuff was a corporation. It was set up as private army, sort of maybe funded by a government or something like that. But it was very...
Private. It seemed like it was privatized.
Privatized and stuff like that. This film, it does not make that distinction. This film is
it's military.
Earth coming. It's very different.
You're absolutely right, because the first film actually was a commercial endeavor. They were digging something for profit.
Yeah, you can make the leap there that a company for profit would do some bad shit.
It's been a long time since I've seen the first one, but I'm pretty sure there was a lot of conflict going on between the humans when that stuff started. Outright war was happening.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of people that became avatars, I believe, that were trying to make peace with the natives instead of, having a war to kill them all.
Yeah, but there was still a private endeavor, a corporation to it. In this one,
what I'm saying is there's still two sides with the humans. There are good humans in that film, and then there are the bad ones. Yeah. Here, it's just where are they?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not a private endeavor. It's not for profit. It's just Earth doing it. They're all bad.
Which is pretty worse, actually.
Now, am I using sentient in the right context when I was saying they're sentient beings?
They can talk.
Sentient means high intelligence.
Yeah, they're highly intelligent.
They're not just
You can say
self-aware,
that,
because
yeah.
animals are sentient to an extent. I don't know much. I hope you understand what
You
I'm
just
saying.
want to jump down all these rabbit holes.
I don't know.
Wow.
This is what we're here for. So yeah, I like the fact that they're killing an intelligent species like this is like bull friggin' crap. But humans evil, humans bad, and then they run away, which is baffling. Like, forget the fight. You know, Jake is the most important asset in the fight because he knows their tactics, he knows their technology, he knows that he has the military training, everything like that. My family's in danger. I get a father wanting to protect his family, and he justifies it that this guy is going to be hunting his family specifically, which is actually true. This guy, instead of like, oh, we've just scared away their leader, which solves so many of our tactical issues, we are going to screw up so much of our, intense endeavors by hunting him directly.
What I hate is that it worked. It worked until they went and sent the helicopter for help for the medical, and then they found him. It worked.
Well, the other baffling thing for me, right, again, is that why are they always needing to do all these humans landing right near the natives? Land on the other side of the planet where there'd be less impact. Surely you can find an area where there's less natives, but then they'll say, the unobtainium is where the natives is, and the brain juice is where the natives are.
That's for the other films, when they go to the fire tribes and then to the Earth
like there's no place on Pandora you can't find.
I mean, it is Avatar, Earth, Wind, Fire, and Rock.
Oh, Nathan. You've heard him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, isn't it? The
This
first
show has ruined my favourite series, yeah.
The first film is wind. They're flying on the dragons and stuff. This film is water.
Fire.
We'll see. So they go to the water people, and so it's just
Greeted by some racism. Casual. Is that what it's called when it's aliens doing it to one another?
yeah. I think it's still racism. It's like they're half the film was trying to say, look how better these natives are to us, and then half is like, look at how human and they're just as jerkish and
First
crappy
off,
as
it's the
regular
demon
people.
blood and the demon hands, and
Yeah.
then they're making fun of their immutable characteristics, their tails and stuff.
I got to credit. It's like I did enjoy where they're trying to make fun of the extra digit. It's like, yeah, but I could do something really great with this digit. You honestly know what I can do? I can curl it into a fist like this, just bang, and I was like,
I'll just do this.
it's like
That's
I don't know. To me, they were trying to say that there's some kind of weird way their three fingers are made that they can't make a stronger fist
I don't
impact
know.
weapon.
I feel like they could.
And if they were trying to say that humans can use their limbs in better combative ways as a result, it's like, all right, give the humans something.
The water people hold spears.
Yeah, but still, anyway. I like that, but there's some moments to like in this. There's annoying things as well. And so...
Why the water people, though? It's just... Go to another forest
You're
people,
right.
that's the thing. It's
Because
weird.
water is pretty.
Yes, but
I thought they
you
were...
have a major... What is it?
Yeah.
An anatomical thing to overcome now.
Yeah, their logic...
Cool, bro. Just connect up your ponytail. Put that thing in there and you're good.
It is bizarre. Their logic is, I need to now get away from the humans because they're hunting me, and I don't want to put our people or my family in danger, so I'll go to a water tribe and put them in danger because the people are actively hunting me, and that's exactly what happens. The humans come and start killing water. Well, they burn the villages, they kill the whales.
You've got something you got to bring up about the natives and how little death there is for them.
Oh yeah, the entire film is kill every human, cut their hands off, shoot them in the head, fill them with arrows. All good. You cannot kill an avatar, not one. Unless they've got camo on and they've got military stuff on. Then hey,
and the sun.
The sun dies. And I think I saw one or two get shot, but you're right. Like, I was wondering where the hell did the water army go after the whale goes berserk? They disappear. It's like, and only the families left trying to fight him. Like, what? They had a tribe. They all died. We didn't see them die. They just pissed off because they're alive at the end.
And I'm pretty sure the daughter was with them the whole time, so they didn't.
Only the daughter stayed. I think every one of the other tribal people just...
Yeah, but I mean, did they even know that their daughter was safe, or did they just leave?
I think they left.
Yeah, because I didn't...
Disappearing armies.
There's really baffling things in this film. And honestly, the more that we do point out, like, it is taking down my scale, because there's a lot of dumb. There's a lot of dumb.
Okay, so for context, we had heard that he liked it, because he watched it last night, and we watched it today.
Did you hear I liked it?
We heard that you had no...
False!
Wasn't it you liked
Fake
it?
Wasn't
news.
that you like it? It's just it wasn't your usual criticisms.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there going,
I need to think about things.
We were seeing it pretty clearly.
The thing is, though, there was more I liked in this than, say,
the strong family
recent
and the strong
films.
father, yes.
There's more to like, and I think that's a virtue that you can point out. What was the movie that I watched recently? Was it Willow? Because Willow's just all garbage. Right? I appreciate watching something that has some good stuff in it, good action and things.
You know, you're not making me looking forward to this next episode that I got to review.
You do.
Yeah, well, I need someone to suffer with me.
It's already out. We got to get onto that. So, back to the water. So much happens, which is just completely irrelevant to the plot.
I want to bring something up. What's her name? Keely? She adapts very well to being a water person.
Is that
scarily well?
Water Jesus?
Yeah, that's Water Jesus.
Oh, but
very well.
Literally an immaculate conception.
Yeah.
Like, you literally have an immaculate conception, so I was like, oh, she's going to be able to talk to the plants and control them.
I have a weird mix, because I do remember at the end of the last film, they try and save them and put the consciousness in the avatar, but she dies. So you couldn't say that the tree god
absorb the consciousness.
Yeah, absorb the consciousness, but I don't understand how they put a baby in there. That's where I'm like, what's happening?
The tree people did it. She got raped by a tree.
They connect up the ponytail.
They do. It's through the ponytails. Get at them.
This is a very strange
Literally.
world.
It makes me so uncomfortable.
Literally impregnated by a tree.
Like, seriously, they meet an animal. Ooh, I'm gonna pull this thing out, and you know that they keep their ponytail like in a satchel, like a fleshlight type thing, and then they pull it out and put it into things.
It's creepy every time they do it.
It is weird. It's very weird.
The more you think about it, like in the first film, I remember just sort of like passively going, yeah, whatever. But the more you literally think about it, you go, what?
The ecology of Pandora is baffling and weird. It doesn't make sense and gets praised far too much. Especially, I think people had, I don't know, It's So Pretty goggles on, which like, if you want to see complex alien ecology, like, read Orson Scott Card Speaking for the Dead for some really inventive, awesome alien ecology, right? That is really
go read
good.
Halo Contact Harvest. There actually is some stuff there.
Like, this is pretty low tier, and like this, if you really. There's things that just contradict where a lot of the animals have 6 limbs, right? And if you want to look at evolutionary, like 2 of those limbs are basically useless and they become evolutionary dead ends. That's why, you have creatures that, end up evolving into 4-legged creatures. But then why are the Na'vi 4-limbed when all the other animal ecology are 6-limbed? Yeah. Like, there's usually a joint kind of evolutionary link between these animals if you want to do consistent world building. And these are like, Avatar is not great world building, guys.
But it's pretty world building.
Yeah. It's pretty.
People like that more.
Yeah, sure. The reef stuff looked nice. I suppose.
So
it looked fine, but like 12 years.
So
yeah, exactly. I mean. 12 years for this. That's the part that's making us insane.
Like we have to acknowledge this. If it was like 3 or 4 years, 5 years after, it would be a fine film. I'd be like, yeah,
okay,
whatever. I don't mind.
I don't know. I still have the same problems.
Yeah, there's
still of course, but
you'd be much more like, yeah, it's okay.
Wouldn't be as annoyed. I guess that's probably the thing, because a decade has passed.
Yeah,
more than a decade actually. When you think about it.
I mean, yeah. Graphic-wise, it took them 12 years to do this.
You know what pisses me off more?
What?
We didn't get the sequel to Alita Battle Angel for this.
You know what pisses me off more? He didn't ride the dragon. I wanted him to ride the big red dragon. Come on!
Instead, they ride weird flying/swimming.
Yeah, those things are confusing.
And a lot of the fish... Okay, a lot of the fish were actually like that big thing that tries to kill him. That looks exactly like a Dunkleosteus.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so that's very huge, like normal thing. When they were flying over the village, there was 2 things swimming and thing. They look like mosasaurs. So there's a lot of like real stuff they're trying to add in.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So it's one of the most boring parts of the film, but I want to try and break down all these side plots that are just pointless.
Oh, so you want to talk about characters? Oh, okay.
Okay. 3 hours on the side plots.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's so pointless. Whereas like. There's the princess girl. She's not really a princess, daughter of the chieftain, but likes the guy. And then learning how to ride the fish, and then not getting along, and they got the bullies.
Aside from Water Jesus, she's fine. And she adapts perfectly well.
I wouldn't mind the side plots if it was like a little bit snappier and a little bit more concise. But what bothers me, the real one that bothers me, is when he fights with the kids who are bullying him. And he goes, hey, you want to come out to the ocean with us? Hunting? And it's like,
let's go.
Everything's fine, huh?
Yeah,
They
it's
go
all
out there
good now.
in the middle of the ocean. Hey, do the fish call. Call the fishes to you.
It's the most stereotypical bully thing, and you might say, "Oh, I was never bullied," and he wouldn't be aware, and it strikes us as particularly naive.
I feel like if you ever fight with someone and they ask you to come somewhere that you've never been before,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like, even if you haven't had experience, wouldn't you be
logic.
cautious?
Basic
And then, what they try and do is murder him.
Yeah, they
this
try to
is
murder him.
flat out attempted murder, not a prank, bro. They try to kill him, and then they brush it off like the kid is like, no. He actually defends him in the end. Are you freaking kidding me?
If it wasn't for Outcast Whale, he would have been dead.
what I hate is it worked. They were friends after that. They were
It's baffling.
He just lets him get away with oh, you tried to kill me. It's okay. I'll cover for you.
Yeah, and it's like it's Deus Ex Machina save where the whale comes out of nowhere and just saves him because plot, right? It's nothing set up to justify it. It's like pure luck that this kid survived that, and then they just brush it off like, why didn't you tell me to my parents? I'm like, he's trying to kill you moron!
Yeah, this one character is just a colossal moron, and his moronic behavior leads to so many big
I
moments.
feel like we have to really break this down to break it. So he got in a fight with like what do we want to call them? Chieftain's son, little princelings, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll just call him racist. How about that?
And then to apologise, they say, hey, why don't you come hunting with us out past the safe area?
Well, the dad says, make it right. Go and apologise.
He did, but it's like he apologised and then they're like, hey, you want to come with us? And then they tease him again.
Yeah.
And that's why he agrees to it. They go out there in the middle of the ocean, somewhere he's never been, and he's not good at this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
No, he can
And they
barely
say,
He
swim.
can barely ride the fish donkeys. So.
we're going to stay here, go over there and call the fish to you. It's like, at some point, natural selection has to kick in. Seriously.
And you know,
That's a great way to put it, man.
oh, it's funny, right? I realised in the great final conflict, I thought at the beginning conflict, if they really wanted to get this film, like, burning on some emotion, that in
What,
the
like
first...
burning the forest down?
No,
like
that the bad guy, he had one of the sons, if he killed one of the kids at the beginning of the film,
What?
that would have really, like...
What, destroying nature wasn't enough to do that?
No, I didn't get
Well,
me wrong,
killing the
but-
whales wasn't enough to do that.
But then I realised, at the end fight, they are probably going to have one of their kids die for the
And what
emotional
I hate
thing.
is that they
And then
kill the good side.
I knew it was going to be the good one. You know why? It was like that. They're not going to kill off the bad son with the dad being such a jerk to him through the whole thing.
A jerk to him. Like,
Oh,
literally.
yeah.
Like
Totally so, yeah.
unjustified jerk. Or the dad just treats him like an absolute asshole.
He's literally doing the most stupid things. Like, literally putting not only his own life in danger,
The lives of his siblings!
his little sister, who's a little child,
Yep.
the older sister, and his older brother, all in danger every single time.
Yes.
And his dad says, hey, stop it. And
thing
he's like,
is,
oh, this
being
is
a
so,
moron.
The dad
this is
is
so
being-
ridiculous.
But the dad is being unreasonably harsh in many times where he's like being an arsehole to his son.
Where?
I'm sure
When
I
they're
agree.
supposed to be on lookout, and then they get off their
So that-
horses to
I-
play with some guns, and then nearly everybody dies. Was he unjustified there?
No. But there were other moments, like when it wasn't called for. He didn't need to be such an arsehole. to
I
his
need
son.
examples.
I need to go back and watch
Because
and give specifics.
there was no example.
There was there was one or
Let's
two
have a
times
look.
I was like, you didn't have to do that.
I don't know. I think that kid was a big jerk. If he was my son, I would have grounded him and been like, if you leave, don't take your little sister with you. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're gonna-
look, you're
the
right.
next
Time
four
is with
times,
the little
it's like,
sister.
hey,
Yeah.
Dad, we're all caught. We're gonna die. Who's with you?
The bad
little
military
sister,
people are here.
little sister.
Yeah, multiple times. You're right.
We're at the shack you told us to never ever go to. We're there, Dad.
Every time.
And that was right after screwing up with the
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
gunship.
the
Yeah.
gunship. Yeah.
With
Like,
the whale.
I think every single time he pulled
But
that kid
because
up,
of
it was justified.
But because of that, that's why I knew they weren't going to kill him off.
Yeah, well, they also wasted an hour with him bonding with a whale.
Yeah, I know, right? The whale
Which
comes.
we could have gotten it in the first minute, and that would have been...
Payoff is the whale saves them later on.
Oh, no, it just really is just...
They didn't need to spend that much time.
No.
And then there's the whole thing about, the
Going
water
in-
people loving the whales and
Going into their mouth and then putting their ponytail in the whale thing.
they stick their ponytail in the whales.
That was so bizarre.
There was 2 times in the movie that I went, no. There was that time, and one time...
I think I saw you go, oh my god.
Because it just goes... and then it's like, okay. It was,
And of course our idiot character was the one to do it.
yeah. There was that time, and there was a time when he was with the chick and looking at each other. I'm like, no, please don't. They're too... No, don't. Okay, and they cut away. But I was scared, man. We're going to get like the first Avatar scene with the ponytails.
Well, they had that ponytail touching in the first film.
Yeah, but I was scared we're going to get it
Ponytail
again.
sex scene.
Yeah.
Let's just be-
Do they not have diseases? Do they need to like protect these ponytails?
They're just touching all these
Yeah, they're
animals.
just touching all this random stuff.
You guys are so, like, you know, xenophobic because you're like humans judging aliens on how aliens, you know, connect. You don't know anything about how... No, it is creepy.
It's disgusting.
Gross.
To the point where, like, I think even normal people are like, this is...
It's their reproductive organ that they are slathering on the reproductive organs of other animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On everything.
On everything.
Yeah.
It's the only way to bond and make a creature loyal to you. You have to sexually assault them.
Though, having said that, right, when you reverse the tables, right, there are things that we as humans do that aliens would think as gross as hell and weird as hell.
Okay.
What do you mean? You piss out of the same thing that you like...
Well, I don't know how they work.
Look, we don't ask that.
There is a point there to be made, sure, but
Sure.
I mean, we're talking about like the ponytail they have sex with, they connect animals to, they connect to nature to, then they also connect to the world to. It's weird.
So, have any of you guys read the shorts? It's not really a short story. It's even smaller, but it's called Meat, and it's these sentient alien things talking about they've discovered this new alien life form, and it's like, what are they? Oh, they're meat. They're meat? That's gross. Like, what? How do they talk? Well, they suck in air and then they squeeze the air out and they flap their meat around and make different noises. And they're talking about humans. And it's a great short story to just kind of contextualize that we can appear really weird as well to aliens and stuff. It's a good one. Look it up. It's fun. Anyway.
I'm not going to say anything because if we do, we'll just go on a tangent. Anyway, continue.
So they dwell heaps on the water people. It's all boring. They could have made it snappy, and they still could have set up the things that... But so much is just arbitrary nonsense bullcrap, like the magical brain juice and everything. Then there's a whole big long sequence of them hunting whales, and for the technology that they have, it is way too difficult to kill these whales.
No, they wanted to make it clear. This is harpooning. This is exactly like how it was done in the 1800s.
I got the Asian lady, so the Asian lady
the
submarine,
Japanese person.
she's the main one hunting the whale, which was like overt.
On the nose a bit, I think.
Very on the nose.
Because it wasn't just one whale, it was when they did the second whale. It was main focused on her again. So I'm like, okay, this is a bit spicy here.
Yeah, they just couldn't resist.
Spicy commentary, James.
On an issue that... On an issue that was relevant maybe 20 years ago.
I mean,
I think you're hard pressed to find someone who's going to be like, yeah, whaling, bro, sounds fun. Like, no.
it's just so funny. They have all this military hardware and advanced technology. You're telling me you don't have a single gun that can launch like a metal rod that will just skewer the thing and kill it outright? They have to go through all this convoluted bullcrap
it has to be
kill
really
the whale.
slow and brutal and have to be
Because
incredibly inhumane. It has to be.
Yeah, because you gotta hate the humans, okay? That's why it's there. Look, they have that whale
completely valid
screeching
point.
and crying and being all...
I think that's exactly why. That's why it's so retarded, because it contradicts the technology that like killing these things should be literally shooting fish in not barrel, but so easy.
Yeah.
It confuses me. They have enough technology to travel to a different planet, different solar system, different everything. They have enough technology to save your memories, clone you, and create your own separate being. But they can't land on a planet without scorching it to Earth, and they can't kill aliens without literally torturing them and hunting them to death.
And they're still incapable. Sorry, go ahead.
And their glass isn't...
Yes! I was literally going to say that! I was literally going to say it. They can't figure out how to make arrow-proof glass.
tempered glass or anything.
We've got that now.
Or here's an idea. If glass doesn't work for some whatever reason, just have a full Titanfall style metal
Steel.
casing, and then have screens and control.
Yeah, you could do that.
They're constantly picking off these gunships with arrows, and
I love how the colonel guy is like, oh, I'm gonna go back for this time. I'm not going to wear any protective gear. Throws out, he sees the arrow and gets traumatized. And he didn't think to prep for this. He has the exact memories he had before he died.
Yeah.
And then
without any training. He hasn't prepped for this.
And then you see how he died.
He sees how he dies.
So
finds the arrows through the glass.
He holds his skull in his hand. And by the way, I don't know why he crushes it. I mean, show some respect to yourself.
I actually think this is more like a. I actually kind of get this. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm the only one. There can be no other.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's a clone or not, look at me. I am the captain.
Look, with that character, there's a lot of weird stuff.
At least that's how I saw that.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's a more valid interpretation. It's something.
Well, guys, I don't know about you, but clearly they had unobtainium arrowheads that can just go through it. No, it's bullcrap.
They may
They
actually
use
have
an arrowhead
I know.
for the whaling. If apparently these spears and arrows can go through anything, just use it instead of your guns.
What I don't understand is why they don't go for the eyes, because the eyes are like right next to the
true.
brain.
Because they
No.
go out of their way to make the humans.
Like, wait.
They want the aliens to be able to have an even fight, when in reality, they're primitive savages that would not be able to put up a fight against a modern military at all.
I feel like
They'll
we have
get
to.
wiped
I
out
want to explain
wholesale.
how they hunt these these whales. First off, they tag them.
Yep.
They track them. Then they fire sonic things into the thing, where they have to breach or else they go deaf. Then they come up with ships with harpoons on them that have explosive shots and shoot them in the stomach.
You skipped a level. They shoot them with harpoons that have inflatable balloons on them,
yeah, that's
right.
which then
Forces them up.
basically immobilizes
Then they go
them.
underneath and shoot them with the explosive
Yeah,
harpoon. And then
because
they just ride them for a bit.
These whales' skin is basically bulletproof armor. Like, we literally see.
But it's not
like,
useful.
The harpoon.
We just throw it all away. We
I
don't
know,
need it.
no,
No.
exactly. But the
not-
harpoon, when it hits any other part apart from things, bounces off this thing.
Comically.
I was like, they have interstellar, like, get a friggin' railgun or something, or some type of electromag that just shoots a metal rod at insane speed that would go through it like easy as crap. But no, humans are incompetent, and because they want to justify the conflict, they want to pretend that this would be an even fight when nowhere near would it be. But it becomes so convoluted that I think even for casual watchers, they're going to be thinking, would it really be that hard?
Although they'll probably just be like, oh, no action for a while. Why?
So
Why are we spending so much time on something making me unhappy? That's something like
the
that.
whale hunting thing was just to show, look how savage humans are for torturing this thing, and also you cut the crap that they put in there. There's actual reasons, but it's all subversive to the narrative flow and pacing of the film, and it's boring and unneeded. And it's either to look how great. When I say like look how the aliens are so great, they're so like. It's like he's got a fetish for it. Like, and the animals, look how beautiful animals are. And then it's like, look how bad humans are. And that's the middle of the film. It's just filled in with scene after scene about that, and then family useless drama and bullying and love interest, and it's like, we don't care.
Look, idiot son is bonding with whale. You should be happy. Look, it's so great.
And then the immaculate conceived daughter girl, she puts her
Water Messiah.
Mortar Messiah.
Yeah.
She puts her reproductive organ on the god tree.
And spurgs out a bit.
Has a seizure. They need to call a medical
Oh
tech
my god, this annoyed me so much.
helicopter to come help, which
The technology does nothing, but
Ollie.
the witch doctor does.
I
Like, what did I just watch?
because the
Why?
aliens Navi are so superior to
my
us humans. Yeah, that's the takeaway. But that is also the key thing that enables the bad guys to figure out, we lost track, but they're amongst these islands. That lets them know where. And it's like,
It doesn't tell them on the islands. It tells them somewhere in the water, and they go, those islands. And then just go straight to the islands and start burning everything.
and there's like, tell us where they are when we start burning everything, basically. It's like, Jake, this is the exact thing that you knew would have happened. You said you're getting hunted.
You are a military man, right?
Yeah.
And I was like,
I mean, you do know this guy. You trained under him.
and he didn't go that far away. Yes, they flew for about a night, but like, you can fly to the other side of the planet.
I know,
okay?
I know.
Like, if you really wanted to get away and protect your family and abandon the fight.
No, Fire's next movie. Fire's next movie, then Earth.
No, it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Are you
underground.
sure? I thought Earth would come first. Next.
Well, I like Fire more, so I want Fire next.
Yeah, but it'll probably be Earth.
Technically, hopefully he doesn't copy The Last Airbender completely.
Oh,
The
yeah.
next one would be Earth in terms of order, but I reckon he'll do Fire because Water, Fire.
Fire Nation attacks.
Yeah.
We're memeing on it. I think there will be other. I don't know, but like, in terms of the next film, I don't really give a crap. I don't know. Like, this one is really.
I'm
You were wanting to see this.
This
We
one
were
I
all like,
was thinking you might like I said, I enjoyed the lead about Angel. Same like
we get it. You like?
We get that.
You keep bringing.
We
that
like
up
a
as
lot of
defense for
Cameron
James
stuff as
Cameron.
well.
Hey,
We like that.
Tyrant,
Yeah.
did you know I like a lead about Angel?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, is it James Cameron? Which one? Is it? I
Yeah,
can't tell.
James Cameron made it. It was a good it was an okay film with really enjoyable parts for me.
Which parts were those?
The main character mainly.
Female parts.
No, well. The main character, really, I thought she was just a real charming character to
Yeah, she's
enjoy,
pretty hot,
and charming and feminine. Well, it was one of the few actual feminine action heroes we've got in recent memory where they weren't afraid to. And so, anyway,
Cameron's got a thing for big eyes. He really does.
he does seem to have that, doesn't he?
I'm sorry, it's just if you look at our thumbnails.
Going
It's not just him.
Going
It's not
back,
just him.
yeah, this film might have been good. And the thing is, all the way up to that first conflict where the bad guy finds the children and they don't jump the shark, they could have had a decent film that I could have enjoyed. And there were enjoyable moments that showed the potential, but then it gets ruined by all this just dumb plot. Like, they want to inject plot to justify look at the world and pretty world and humans bad crap and everything when if you cut all the propaganda crap and just gave us an action film where it's a guy trying to fight off bad people, bad humans in this while protecting his family, you could have had a pretty concise, good blockbuster action film that wasn't that smart but just fun, and that would have solved it for a lot of people, I think. But this middle filler, boring, getting off on Pandora and the animals just ruins it in a big way. And then finally, the bad guys are now actually on their way there, and they want to flush them out because going village to village is too inefficient, and they'll flush them out by killing their favourite whales.
You got to remember that they were going village to village, and they stopped because it was inefficient. It was just ineffective. Not because it was bad. Them just going to random villages, putting them all at gunpoint, and then burning them. No.
Yeah.
It's just ineffective, so they stopped.
We forgot about Spider, by the way, because
where do we start with him?
So in the first conflict where the bad guy has the family, they kidnap Spider. They end up getting away with Spider, which is the human that grew up amongst the Na'vi, which is actually the son of the bad guy.
Yeah, because Colonel Man realizes, you seem familiar.
Yeah.
And then he finds out, it's my kid. And then, okay. Was anyone else baffled as to why Spider warms to Colonel Man really quickly? Like, to the point where they're actually alright on good terms at some point. Why?
Colonel Man was letting him not get tortured. I think that's what the film is saying.
He would have known what Colonel Man's like. Why was he so shocked when he started torching Na'vi villages?
I don't know, because I do think that when because remember how they pulled up a recording of his death, and then he saw that it was the wife that killed him and not the father. I think that's where he started to view things differently.
Maybe.
Because that happens a couple of times where he starts to view things differently with his dad.
Yeah, it's very confusing because he keeps on going back and forth.
Yeah.
And that's
especially at the end.
Especially at the end where it's like, so my dad's an absolute monster. Oh, never mind. I'm just going to save him even though he's admitted he will not stop.
Okay, but the thing is though,
I don't want it to be clipped in me.
What?
What? When he does the growl and jumps in the water. I was going to do the growl. I'm not doing it.
The thing is, the dad did save Spider's life at that time, and so I could the thing that I think Spider would be more pissed off that they just abandoned him. And the Na'vi, his family.
That would be nice if it was actually made clear.
The way they set it up, and because they made it feel like he was a member of the family, if they actually showed that he was just the enemy, the son of the enemy, and the mother still had an issue with it, they could have actually...
That'd be more complex, yes.
Exactly, but they don't do that.
No.
And so instead...
I thought they were going for it at times, because it's like, okay, maybe there's some reason to like your dad here. But
they just forget about him.
And then they're like, no, human's bad.
And I think them trying to build Spider and the dad's relationship bit by bit... obviously Spider doesn't trust him, and Spider hated him throughout the whole time, right up to the point where the dad basically doesn't let him die.
And
the dad kind of saves his life from the crazy...
And I suppose also adopts some Na'vi things that he's experienced as well, like bonding with that flying creature.
And so
bonding? I don't know if that's bonding. I'd call that more submission.
Submitting, that. But either way, it seems like Spider was very happy in that moment. Even though he should be horrified because, they're going to go after the people I care about.
He just forced himself onto an animal.
So
that's normal in this culture.
I'm not against Spider saving the bad guy's life. I'm more against what the mum did to go there, and that wasn't justified. And how did she know that? How did she know that the bad guy would give a crap about him and not, risk it? Like, that was a bit.
That's a great point, actually. I completely missed that. How?
How do you know that he cares for him enough that he will?
Yeah.
That entire scene was just left
Junk.
field, didn't make sense.
Junk,
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Yeah. And
What a strange. Yeah.
of course, right, the bad guys come after the exact whale that the idiot son has connected to and went to see and warn, and then he takes the daughter and others
I
with
hate it
him.
when they do it. It's every time. They're like, he's running off to do something stupid.
Let's go stop him.
Little tiny toddler sister and older sister, come with us, follow us. Why? Every time. So much of the film is just saving them from dumb stuff.
From dumb stuff.
Like,
you're right.
it happens 3 times at minimum, 3 or 4 times.
I'm pretty sure it's 4,
a lot. Like, we shouldn't be spending this much of this movie saving the children from the same thing over and over.
Yep.
I agree. Every time they call Jake, it's like, hey, Dad, we're in trouble again. It becomes comical after a while.
Yep. And that's the inciting thing that kicks off the final battle. And look, the final battle, it was fun, lots of action, good spectacle. Visual effects was pretty good throughout all of that. But still, it's founded on stuff that is stupid and
A
annoying.
lot of human killing.
Lots of brutal
Killing so many
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
in so many different creative ways. I'm almost impressed.
And look, and a lot of, just shooting right through glass because no one's learned about the arrows, and there's just learn, and it's unreasonably difficult for the humans to fight off these, guys with spears.
Yeah, they're
right?
like 10 foot tall. They're huge. Yeah.
But they got friggin' guns, man,
But I'm just confused. Why didn't... The Na'vi had access to the humans that stayed and were on their side. Why wouldn't they teach the Na'vi to have guns so they can advance a bit? No, we just got to stick with the spears because it's tradition.
And so, the bad guys end up having the daughter and other daughter, the adopted daughter, captured.
That was comical.
Then
That
the
happened
whale
twice.
Yeah, then the whale comes.
He literally says, they got me again!
It's like,
I was like,
wow, we got it!
They go back to save someone else, then someone gets else captured. Then the 2 brothers go to save them, but then one of the brothers get killed in saving them.
There's so much stuff like that. It's like, they did this bit, and then it's like, okay, it's resolved. Now we did it again.
I was over it the first time when they went to the shack. I was over it that first time. And then the rest of the film is just more of that.
And it just pads the runtime of it, and it just doesn't end. It's like, one, you could have made a better film by cutting a lot of that stuff out, and 2, you could have made a more concise film by cutting a lot of that stuff out. But no, you had to just undo the previous scenes that you put in. Okay.
So the son dying was narratively appropriate to have something tragic, get you emotionally invested in everything. Wasn't set up well. The way he gets shot was... Look, I'm glad they don't have him dodging bullets, and so he could have been a bit more cautious still.
The problem I have with it is all the other children were in worse situations, were getting exact same gunfire.
There were moments...
It's just right now, he's got to die now.
Yeah.
There were moments when, they should have been shot.
Yeah.
Also remember that there's a part where Jake comes in and throws a grenade and kills everyone, and his family's still in there as well.
Yeah, and
stuff like that. Where I'm like,
heaps of
I would
humans
not
die,
do that.
and they're fine. Yep. He puts a grenade in... there's a gunship that's on the ground, and he puts a grenade in its missile housing thing, and so there's 4 big missiles there, and it explodes.
blows everything up.
And
With
just
his kids still
remember
inside.
that they're being held in the middle of the ship.
Yeah.
Right in the center.
And so, something that kind of pissed me off as well, right, is that the bad guy, at 3 different points, has Jake's children at his mercy, and he says, don't test me, if you do anything funny, I'll kill them. They do something funny, and then he just ends up fighting them and leaves the kids alone, and it's
It's too soft.
Too soft.
Ties into what I said.
Yep. And then, so, the brother dies, and that means, he's going to keep hunting us, so I just have to
wish
kill
I
him.
could have cared.
Look, at that moment, I did enjoy kind of the savage, berserker rage that, the mum goes on, and he goes on, and they just,
Something I want to say about the older brother. He had a really, really thick accent, but then the younger brother just talked normally.
Yeah, idiot didn't have a...
I didn't understand why all the other children speak normally, except for the elder son. He has a really thick accent.
And also...
It's kind of.
Yeah.
When they would
It's
talk to each
bizarre.
other, when the brothers would talk to each other, they go, "Why do you sound
It's
like?"
like, are you related? I can't tell. It's fake. Sometimes I got confused. I was like, which one's which?
Yeah, I had a really hard time watching this movie. That everyone's blue.
Oh,
like,
I had trouble telling them apart to begin with in a big way, and
What? What is this
I'm
time?
not racist. I've got blue friends.
they're so because they all got the flat noses, they all got the same coloured eyes.
Is it our fault that they all look alike?
Like even the girl, like he doesn't have white hair anymore. He still has dark hair.
There were times where I was like,
To begin with, it was hard to tell them apart. Okay.
It still is.
So it wraps up with a standoff. The bad guy has the daughter with a knife, and then crazy mother grabs the spider and just says,
I'm gonna kill him.
"You really
Son for a
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this kid has been friends with my children all this
I
time.
know,
I'm gonna kill him.
and they're like, this was too far. Well, this is the thing, all right? If you want to justify it and say it is in her character because she's always been really aggressive and violent and stuff like that, that makes her a psychopath.
Yep.
But you could say she was always a psychopath and justify it. But guess what? That doesn't make me like her as a character now because she's a psychopath, right? That will do. She'll murder an innocent person.
I think what's interesting as I think about it, she has less character in this film than the last one.
She does.
Oh, yes.
The last film,
yeah.
she was a fine character.
A more complex character, yeah. This one is just a bit more one note.
One-dimensional.
This one makes me wonder, why are you married to Jake?
Yeah, and so they probably could say it's in line with their character, but it's gone to an extreme level where it's just, okay, she's a psycho now, don't like her, well done, when you could have easily gone the other way and showed that she's married essentially a human, she's come to understand that they're not all bad, and that she would never be willing to murder someone that she saw as a son to save her own blood. That's like, okay, but they don't do that. They make her insane, and she goes to kill him.
Oh, but she was blinded by vengeance. Son for a son, right?
I just can't
that's
accept
terrible.
that.
That's what
It's terrible, but that's
Like
what
you
someone
said,
would
if,
use.
If they set it up as like she never really liked him or she always saw him as an outsider, then I'm like, yeah, okay,
They
fine.
tried.
But they never do that.
They did it with one line.
What line?
At the beginning, I think she was like, "Oh, you should be sent back. He's not one of us. I don't like him being here."
Yeah, but that's when he was like a little baby
Exactly.
kid, not like when he's now grown up.
Oh, but that's what they would say. The line justifies it. It's stupid.
Well,
it really is stupid.
It's
though.
not enough.
Of
Nowhere
course
near
it's not.
enough. Especially, raising him, living him all that time.
Again, another
Yeah.
interesting
And-
idea.
I
They
think-
do nothing with
I think
it.
the fact that all of us have gone like, whoa, what happened? This is so jarring.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
exactly.
I think even
Yes.
just normal people watching it were like, wait, what?
And
It's
on,
like, oh yeah, the one human that we actually.
yeah.
He's on
our side.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to kill him. Oh yeah, okay.
And the thing is, I'm saying you could justify it that it's within her character, that she just still hates humans and she's always been a savage, bloodthirsty nutcase, right? The thing is, though, that ruins her as a character. Yeah, you could say it's justified. She's ruined. She's awful. She's a bloodthirsty, psychopathic, murdering savage. Don't like her.
She's literally married to one
Yeah.
and has kids with
Exactly.
all like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
And
does she
create all
hate the
those-
human side in her own kids now? Does
And
she
create the demon children.
And so, no. If you wanted to make me still like this character, you jumped the shark with it. You went way too far with that.
I don't care too much about the character. It's just more like
Yeah,
I just didn't understand the scene. The scene was just so random. I'm like, what's happening here?
I'll go out on a limb and say I don't think I found any characters really that complex or engaging for me. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe the first one's got more compelling characters.
I think you're
I don't
actually
remember.
right. Yeah, I think you're
But
right.
this one, I didn't feel anything, and that's the thing. It's clear they wanted me to feel.
I think Spider is the most complex character, actually. Where
Probably.
you see him being torn between two worlds, and like,
the Colonel. There's like shades of complexity, especially with the whole him being dead angle and just having to
yeah. But
being what he is now as well.
you're right. They could have done way more with a lot of the themes they had.
It's like
It was
it's the
clear,
focus
that, it
is
was
on the
clear that
kids.
they wanted us to really, really like the younger son. So like as more movies come out, he's gonna start you know stepping up a bit more, and we'll like him. But it's like I like the elder son.
Yeah,
me
same.
too.
I wanted more of him.
Yeah, I don't like idiot. I just don't.
And so he kind of like Jake, right? He finally gets the bad guy in a chokehold, and the choking underwater. I'm thinking, you're robbed access to oxygen anyway. What did you? And then okay, he's trying to stop the blood flow to the brain to knock him out, and that's what he does. But then I was wondering, like, do you know if he's dead or not? And he's not dead.
This is the other thing I was about to bring up. It's like they were underwater, unconscious, both of them, for a long time before they were saved by their respective sons. I'm like, oh, they should be dead. What's happening here?
And when they come out of the water, like once they're out of the water, they're like, oh, I'm conscious now.
Again, good point. And so the fact that this guy just got inadvertently, I don't think he pulled the trigger. Maybe he did, I can't remember. But anyway, is the reason your son is dead? I mean,
no, he didn't. No, he one of the goons.
Yeah. But still, you'd get a friggin' knife out, and you'd be it's finishing.
It's on him. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and the fact that you're just like, oh, now you're unconscious. I guess you could rightly assume that is dead, but is not dead. That's the thing, and so I guess wrong assumption. The fact that they can breathe underwater for some reason, and then they want to drag it on, and now they're trapped in a sinking ship, and there's how are they going to get free, and there's a whole nother kind of desperate thing to get free. And like, maybe if you had this like as a intense thriller where it's always one problem after another, but no, now it felt a different tone where you just drag it. It's already so long.
It just reminded me of the scene where the water Jesus saves everybody by destroying the submarine. And then she purposely slaughters the humans and stops them from getting to the surface and kills them.
Yeah, that was messed up. That was messed up.
I was like, destroying the sub, yeah, okay. And then they try to escape, it's like, no,
Yeah,
you're not going anywhere.
It's terrifying.
But, the water, Messiah girl, she comes in and speaks with the fishes, and there's like, I kind of laughed when they introduced, there's conveniently a fish that when you attach to it, you can breathe with it underwater.
Yeah, that was...
Also convenient. I wonder if that will come in later at the exact moment you need. And guess what? She finds a breathing fish right at the moment where she needs it, finds her mum, saves her. The idiot son, who was told to not come in, comes in anyway, saves his dad. And so the dad will be happy with him now.
Yeah, rewarded for doing the exact same behaviour. He's done the whole film. Yeah.
Spider went in with the son to try and save the family, comes across the bad guy, the dad, saves the dad. But what I find funny is that they get back to the water, all right? Everyone's still mourning the thing, happy everyone else is alive. Screw Spider, who gives a stuff about him. Yeah. He's not back. And then he finally comes back and it's like... Spider, can't you see these people don't give a crap about you? One actively was happy to murder you.
I think Jake does, because he hugged him and he was happy to see him, and he's like to his other son, come in here, like so. At
no point was he like, "Where's Spider?"
I agree. Like they're all hugging and going, "Where's going?" And it's like nobody's thinking, "Hey, where's the other dude?" Other one. So I mean, there is that for sure.
Yeah.
But at least I found it weird that he decided to go back with them at all.
Well, after the attempted murder thing,
he goes straight back to them.
Yeah, especially with one that...
This is where there was, I think, actual valid conflict where my dad's still a douche, still trying to kill the people. He has hots for the water, Messiah girl, and so that's probably the main thing. That's the main thing why he wants to go back. They're gonna touch tails.
Well, he doesn't have one.
No,
so that's
no, he's gonna get an avatar.
Yeah, because he's
gonna become a Navi. It's like that's the.
By the way, did anyone else find it? I know Tyrant found it comical
actually
when he screeched at his dad and.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, why is
what's with the screeching of these creatures? It's very
like that. It does that. It
literally that. Yeah.
After he saves his dad.
Because they are savages, right? Trying to say, they're so no. These are actually primitive tribal people that are okay with murder. They're extremely xenophobic. They hate humans. Sky people are bad, but if you want to think that,
so are the humans in this one. We're gonna be like,
they're both bad.
Terrible.
But the thing is, though, the Navi, specifically the mother, right, was willing to murder someone that was essentially a son, not care, and it seems like because human bad, don't care about the humans, and you might say, desperate thing, and so still no, it's gone too far.
But what I found weird was he saved his dad. He obviously felt something. Saved his dad, dragged him to shore, and his dad's like, come back with me. We can do something. Yeah, and he screeches and then jumps back in the water. I was like,
it was baffling.
I thought the whole conflict here was he was going to choose him.
But it was a life for a life. You saved my life, I saved.
And honestly, if he chose to go with his dad, that would have actually been an interesting hook for a sequel.
Yeah, and I think it would have also been justified. But he has got the hots for the other one, and maybe he won't become a Navi because they will want to figure out how to, connect tails with a human.
Demon blood.
Demon blood.
No.
Alrighty.
Just thinking of the ways that
I think I got one in my mind and I want it out of my brain.
Don't worry, I'm sure James Cameron has thought of it. And
of course he's thought of it, yes.
So then Jake, he finally comes to the most important realization.
We must fight.
It's oh my god, it's like, I swear, I bet you anything, if we pull up like the last film, I swear he says it somewhere at the end, like, we have to fight for what we love or something like that. Like,
we've got the film somewhere. We'll find out.
I think they were just assuming they had won, but
you think that they assumed that they won?
yeah, that they were going to be environmentalist advocacy groups to stop the bad corporations coming back to rape the native inhabitants and stuff.
Okay. Right.
Dumb.
So idiots.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, I just find it so funny. Like, they had one incredibly valuable unobtainium bullcrap thing. It's not enough. We need something else to justify them hunting the water people. I know, magical brain juice that makes them immortal.
Makes you immortal. It's like, we're going to jump this up way.
Pandora is just, they're blowing the load on everything. Like, this is the magical everything planet. Yeah. Like, there's going to be the cure for cancer there, which probably already unironically do have, by the way.
Well, if it makes you immortal.
No, well, actually, yeah, that is right. It is the cure of cancer. What the heck? What else can it have? It's gonna have magical powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they already do have that because the Messiah,
Girl can talk to fish
and control plants and stuff. When he gets the conclusion that he should have had the beginning, and that's supposed to be the investment for the next film, I was like, come off.
It just means you can quite literally just take this film out and not watch it.
Yeah.
Because the next film, if you watch the first film and then watch the next film, they will start off in the same set.
Yeah, just fighting the humans.
They've had kids in the time that has
pretty much.
passed.
Yeah.
Like, it will literally just be
if you just pick up and it's like, you see humans and they're fighting humans and you just make it so, the humans came back at some point. Yeah. I don't need this film.
There's just so much to cut out.
Oh, but then you need to know about the magical brain juice.
I betcha it won't even play a part in the next
It'll be hilarious. It won't even come up.
exist.
Unobtainium doesn't exist in this film, basically.
They didn't
It's a
need
non-thing. They're not even bothering with mining anymore. It was so valuable. They don't give a crap now.
It was one throwaway line.
Exactly.
They kind of go, we're not here for little mining. We're just here to save the world. That was all that got mentioned.
Do you reckon saving the world will come up in the next one? Because that was a throwaway line too. That's a pretty big thing to actually, motivate humans.
So
I don't know, maybe there's a compromise you could reach with the Na'vi. Oh, never mind, who cares?
if this is the film that needs to get one of the highest box office returns
in history.
Like, no way. No way.
2 billion? Yeah, keep dreaming, mate.
Oh boy, and which means I would say, unless they filmed the sequel already, that puts the other sequel in great doubt. And
I think it can make it to $1 billion just on like people who are interested. I think maybe. Like I think they can.
Yeah.
Like Captain Marvel. Wait, is Captain
No,
Marvel?
wait,
Miss
wait.
Marvel? No.
What are you talking
One
about?
with Brie Larson.
Captain
Captain
Marvel
Marvel.
had a
Captain
completely different thing. No, that was a complete. It was sandwiched in between the two biggest movies ever.
I agree, but Avatar was so big during its time that people have waited
Too
a long
much time has passed.
I agree. It's just I'm thinking about normies in like a general
See,
sense.
James Cameron, he said that you won't go see this movie once. You'll see it 2 or 3 more
Are
times.
you kidding me?
I dread
You would have to pay
That's
like
what's going to make the
this
2 billion.
film
No.
was painful to get through. It was so boring and slow. And like I've watched 3-hour films. This was one of the harder ones to get through for me in recent memory.
Why would I watch this when I could watch something with more character, more depth, and more interesting world building?
If
I don't know.
If there's Avatar fans watching and they're thinking to themselves, should I watch it? I think you should, because you'll understand why you won't want to watch the next one. That's it. Like genuinely, that's it.
Maybe we can actually get Cameron away from this project and onto something that, might be better.
I want to be clear. I wanted to like this. I really because I
I
like
was
the
the
first
most
film.
positive one coming into this film.
I was
and I
like-
think I was the most charitable as well in my review.
I wanted this to be good, but it's just
I wanted it too.
12 years for
I've
this.
watched a lot of junk this year.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to have something decent. It's just not.
That's
Yeah.
what I default to. 12 years for this. That's all I default to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it good anymore, but there are still enjoyable elements that might.
So
look
you would call it good.
No, I said
Anymore.
not anymore. At the beginning, I was on that. I was very clear about what I said.
undecided.
When I said I was.
Whoever said I said it was good was lying.
Umming and ahhing on a 6 out of 10 for it, but nah, it's not. It's not. And especially the boring filler. So. We don't recommend Avatar. You'll save 3 hours of your life if you don't watch it.
Yes. Use those collective hours. What is it?
On something
3,
more
6,
valuable.
9,
yeah.
12.
Spend your
Use the-
time on something more
Yeah.
productive, like watching grass grow or something.
Yeah, we all wasted 3 hours, so you don't have to.
Or watching another one of our reviews.
Hey,
that'd be
you
good.
didn't waste time watching this. Thank you guys, we appreciate you. So until next time, stay on watch.